Hello, everybody, and welcome back. All right, so let's just to recap the past 2 hours really quickly. The game opened up with a couple of witchers inside of a work camp that has freak shows inside of it. In a small podunk town nobody really cares about. One of the witchers, as you discovered later on in the session, was there on purpose. He actually allowed himself to get captured to kind of evade the notice of a werewolf in the area that he's been hunting, that now he believes is, that the whole time he was kind of believing was somebody with a bit of authority, which is why he felt it was important to do a bit more research from within the actual work camp itself. Don't have them like onto him, but at the same time have a bit of freedom to actually investigate the guards themselves. The other witcher, he schnooped the mayor's daughter, and so
he got bonk-donked.
Yeah. So he got thrown into prison. So they were in there doing like work or whatever when another outsider came to town, a source or a sorcerer, hidden. For their freak showness was not very apparent. So he was actually welcomed to town a bit kindly. He was able to find his way over to two witchers who he found the idea of them being there to be a bit helpful for his own cause. Found a way to get to them and to break them out of the work camp, wherein instead of just leaving and being appreciative of their freedom, they decided, we probably should handle this werewolf situation. A little bit of investigation of corpses and buildings later, and here they are in Carver, the actual leader of the work camp, city guard, whatever, home, where it seems as though he is the werewolf, and one of them is standing over him, holding their silver sword. The others quickly rushing towards the house before it's too late. So, fuck! What are you doing in here? He says as he comes to and looks up and sees you there, holding a sword to his face.
You should probably cover yourself. You don't want to die naked. I've tried it. It's not very nice.
Hearing you say that, it's trying to be a bit emboldened. What he does is he actually stands up and allows the thing to drop fully, so he's completely buck in front of you, and he's like, gonna kill a man in his sleep? Might as well be able to appreciate what a man is.
Is this like when we're coming through the door, too? We just see him as it drops.
Do you go around the front to go through the door, or do you try to, jump through the window?
I imagine Bastion, he's just he goes through the front door. He doesn't really think much of it.
Sure, whips around.
Front door.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to tell you the front door is locked, but
damn it,
it's not like it's... It's not like it's a super complicated lock. It's not like you turn a key to lock or unlock these doors. It's like if you had a cabin somewhere, the bathroom locks and just kind of slide out and back in. So Bastion goes over and grabs the doorknob and tries to push it open, realizes it's locked, and in a moment you're welcome to make a strength check to break it or whatever. But give me 1 moment.
Absolutely.
Bren, do you follow Bastion?
I will stay around the corner.
Sure. So you kind of you don't go through the window. You kind of follow him around to where the front door is, but not in plain view.
Yeah.
Understood. So, Leonard, so he says all those things to you. Do you say anything in response?
I'm just going to try to buy some time. What did he say last? What was he saying?
I appreciate more or less appreciate a real man.
Unfortunately, he was only packing a dagger that day. So I got my sword drawn, pointed at him. I'm just going to take a quick glance down and then be like, talking a lot of shit for someone who doesn't have much. Just trying to buy time. Just bullshit.
Yeah. It's one of those things. I mean, little quips like that might piss off certain people. He at least believes himself to be beyond such things, and so he just kind of pfft. And seeing that you haven't attacked at him yet, he's actually going to make the bold move. So he's standing in front of the chair. You came round the right side of the chair to go around the fireplace where you were kind of examining him and reach up and grab your sword. And there are the two swords over the fireplace. Round the left side of the chair, he has another long sword, happens to be leaning up against the chair, and he's actually going to reach over to go grab at it. Now, I imagine your character might want to react to this in one way or another, and that's why we have something in this wonderful world of Dungeons & Dragons called initiative. Now, the way that initiative works in Roll20, Messy, is that you're actually going to click on your token first before you click the initiative button on your actual character sheet.
Look on my token?
Yep, your token is going to be... Oh, you guys can't see your tokens on the map because I'm a big dummy.
Yeah, we don't.
Because the way I display the dice. So 1 second, let's do a command copy. Let's go over here and command paste. So over here we'll scroll down a little. So we're safe. Up here we'll stay up at the top. Paste. So you guys should be able to see your tokens up at the top of that screen that you're on.
Yeah.
Good thing I'm waiting around the corner.
Yep. That's famine is starting to come in. So click on your token. It should have the name on it for you.
Yep. Click it and then hit initiative.
Correct.
Where's initiative?
It's going to be the top center of your character sheet.
Oh, there it is.
I like how we have like gray Geralt and then not so gray Geralt for the Witchers.
I actually have a better one for Bastion as well. It's actually this one right here. I just haven't switched it over yet because it actually has a shield and stuff, which is nice.
Oh,
yeah. I just again didn't switch it yet. All right, cool. So let me do my initiative roll. Get this guy on there. It's gonna be boop 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 boop. And my result. Oh, are you kidding me? I rolled a natty 1. Okay, so we
Welcome to the club.
We never discussed this prior to the stream. The way that I handle initiative in my Friday night game, my Eberron campaign, which is also D&D 5e, I have a little house rule that I like. I don't generally like the idea that natural 1s are fumbles or natural 20s are critical successes beyond the actual core rules of the game, which is a natural 1 or natty 20 are automatic failures or successes with attack rolls and saving throws, okay? So that's raw. I do like to add this tiny little side rule where with initiative, if you roll a natural 1, so on an action, on your turn, you have a reaction, a bonus action, a move, and just your regular action. So if you roll a natty 1, you actually lose your action. You can still move, you can still bonus, you can still react, but you lose your action. On a natty 20, you get 2 actions. So we've actually seen it in combat where somebody's rolled natural 20 and just like completely, because they have 2 attacks with an action, they've just done like 4 attacks and then used a bonus action for a 5th attack and just like ripped things apart. But if you roll that natty 1, it's poo-poo on you. This is a situation where it actually impacts the bad guy, but it'll be a rule moving forward. Votes.
Yeah, sure.
Thumbs up.
Okay, there we go. So natural 1, you lose your action. Natural 20, you gain an additional 1 just for that first round of combat. Then it's normal moving forward. So in this situation, we actually have Bastion's going to be able to go first. So as this is all happening, he's reaching over to grab his sword. Bastion, you can actually make your strength check to try to bust in the door.
All right. Boom. Oh, that's the wrong one.
Strength save.
I think it's the same thing.
It is the same modifier, yeah.
So that's fine. We can let that hold. So you grab the door and you shoulder and boom, you hit it hard and it does like splinter around the door and it does crack the frame and everything, but it doesn't finishing busting the door the rest of the way open. You know what I mean? It's clearly like now it's weak enough that Bran could even bust it open, but you didn't finish it. No offense, Bran. So so you guys so you bust that thing as a start, and I imagine is that pretty much your whole turn?
Yeah, I'm just busting that door.
Okay, next is going to be Leonard.
I mean, I guess I got to attack, right?
Mm-hmm. If you choose to, you don't have to straight up attack him. You can do whatever you'd like. You can talk to him. You can try to slap the sword away so he can't get it. You can, well, you know, it's up to you.
Can I like, he's reaching for the sword right now?
Mm-hmm.
Can I bring my sword down so it's like in between his hand and the sword he's reaching for?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right.
You definitely can. So I'm going to have you roll an acrobatics check. But honestly, you can get that done easily. It's just something he's going to have to, you set a DC for him to get around. Okay, so more or less, it's one of those things where as he reaches for the sword, you bring your sword down like so close, like almost severing fingers, but you have precision to your aim. So he kind of like pulls his fingers back a bit. We had discussed longsword, by the way. Dexterity-based weapon for you would actually be a short sword, just so you know. I don't know if you care about that. We can discuss all this stuff afterwards. I'm just a dummy.
Yeah, we'll fix it up later.
So he goes to reach for the sword, and as he does so, you like drop your sword down at it and stop him from being able to get to it. As a matter of fact, you don't just stop him from being able to get to it. He just woke up. He doesn't feel right, but he doesn't know why. He reached for the sword. That kind of like threw him off. It actually throws him off so much, he doesn't even take an action this turn. He doesn't do anything whatsoever. He's just kind of like taking it on. He's like, "You're in my house. I'll have your head for this, you freak show," and just kind of like trying to gather his senses.
There's something wrong, Carver. You can smell it. I can smell it. We all know it. Just gonna talk to him.
Yep. So when you say that, why don't you actually roll me a persuasion? But it's disadvantage because this guy does not like you or the situation.
Well, I'm bad at persuading.
You're really bad.
Doesn't like that.
No, well, so you said your words. It just carried no weight in his mind, probably because he's a bit of a hailstorm or is just an idiot. And that's going to bring us to Bran's turn. Bran, do you just kind of like lean against the wall, kind of like caught off guard by the fact that all this action just took place?
Can I walk over to the window and then notice that he's naked and notice the blood on his hands and then make the correlation in my mind? Or...
You walk over to the window and look in. However, you have even worse vision than Leonard, and there's only a bit of light inside there. You're not going to be able to notice the blood on the hands. You might be able to notice the nudity because somebody has a different look when they're wearing pants or a shirt when they're not, especially loose clothing of this era and location.
You can see the shadow of his butt.
So why don't you roll me a perception with disadvantage?
Ooh.
Those are some tight pants.
Wearing pants. These pants.
So you're able to look into the window and you can see the two shapes, and you can see like Leonard swings his sword and says the words that he says, but you don't really catch all the finite details. Okay.
Okay.
That brings us back.
I'll back off again then, I guess.
That brings us back to the top of Bastion. Bastion, you're able to make a strength check, and
Yeah.
You know how to do that, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And so it's even easier this time, but you, same DC. So you just shoulder the thing and bust it open. And as soon as you bust it open, you look over and see a whole lot of naked men not far from you. They're standing over in front of a fireplace, and you can easily make your way over to them if you care to.
Yeah, I'm going to go over, and I'm going to reach for my greatsword, and I'm going to say... Or can I make it that far?
Absolutely. It's not a big house.
Okay. So I go over to my greatsword to grab my greatsword. And I'm like, Stabby, I found you.
Stabby.
And you have a now.
I'm like, swing that
Oh
free.
my god.
Okay. So kind of like watching, it's a lot to take in for Carver. And like watching you grab at the thing and stab you and da-da-da. He's like a bit off. And he almost seems like thrown off by you coming over. There's another Witcher here. He's starting to feel threatened. You reach over and you grab this thing. You're talking to it.
Wait, he's now starting to feel threatened with people pointing swords at him and being ambushed naked in his own house.
Does he
He
recognize
really
us?
is out of it.
Sorry, does he recognize us from the camp?
He recognizes, yeah, he definitely recognizes you guys from the camp. Like he got that definitely. But roll for me an insight check now that it's your turn, Leonard, before I do anything else.
Sure. Make sure I'm on normal. I'm not good at check. Insight.
Correct. So you can see like he's starting to be, it's like right on my face, the die is like right here. So you can see that he is he's like looks over and like the words that Bastion is saying, they're kind of like falling like on deaf ears. He almost seems to start like swooning and rocking back and forth, and kind of seems into himself, and you hear like a it's my house, and it, almost like if you didn't know any better, like someone who's like really drunk and angry and about to vomit.
See, this would be nice if I had Axie. But I don't. Yeah, I mean, I guess there's no real going back here. I'm gonna take his Well, no, I'm not going to do that. And I don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'll just like kind of like shush Bastion and kind of like try to remain motionless and like be like Bastion, so like tap him on the body and be like, Bastion, calm down for a second, hold on, like don't move, and we just like kind of like just freeze.
Okay. So you just kind of like get Bastion to like back off and be quiet, but you give the man his space.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when you do that, you can see that he's clearly like fighting with himself. Like, he's like something's wrong, and he's really trying to hold something back. Something seems like it's like trying to rip itself out of from within him. And after a bit of like just kind of like watching the swaying and everything, Bran, you can definitely look in and see what's happening here a bit, but it's a bit dark too. From the window you are. You see he's kind of like swaying, and he kind of like leans forward and uses one of his hands to hold himself upright, so he's kind of being held up by like 3 point on the arm of the chair that he was in, and he's like, her, and he just starts giving like a bit of a coughing and then dry heaving, and actually does vomit a little bit. And when he does vomit, you can smell a decent amount of alcohol coming down from within, but also you can definitely smell a bit of blood, like stronger in the air about you. He's not doing very well, let's just say that.
It's apparent.
How do you guys act? Bran, you can act first if you care to.
I think I'll wait to see what he does.
Sure. That brings us back to Bastion. Bastion, you see, he's freaking the fuck out and now vomiting.
Yeah. I give him his space at first, as as I was told to do. But as I see that he's starting to like vomit and stuff like that, I try to help him out a little bit, almost like I try to sit him up, get him comfortable. I'm like, are you okay? Do you need help?
So you go over, you try to sit him up, and I imagine you're genuinely trying to be kind.
Yeah, genuinely. Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of a nice person. However, you're a fucking freak show, and he's in a lot of pain. And so when you come over and do that, he you try to like hold him up, and you do help him for like a moment or two, but then like grabs you from his one arm and shoves you back with more force than you would expect. He's like, and he's just tearing and ripping in pain, and you actually can hear, almost sounds like a snap or a pop happening from his body, and it was a lot louder than you would expect it to be. Like if somebody just break a joint, or here. Oh, there you go. Those are all wimpy ones. I heard Dunce crack his neck on stream last night, and I was like, ooh, that was a good one.
Yeah, my neck, it's pretty bad.
So, but you hear like a nice loud snap and pop happen. Leonard, what are you doing? You just saw Bastion get shoved backwards.
All right. Well, it might be too late, but I'm gonna. Let me see what this does really quick. Sorry, hold on. How do I view a spell again? Do I click it in? Oh, here we go. So what does this one do? That doesn't really help. And what does that one do? This is what I'm looking for.
So, it's the magical ward. It's actually a pretty big area. 10-foot diameter circle.
Yeah.
What is it? Radiant and magic. Monsters normally resistant to non-magical weapons can be affected normally within the area of the ward. It treats the area within the ward as difficult terrain.
Yeah. Maybe not yet. Okay, I'll just, Jeez, there's a lot going on.
So
everyone's freaking out.
Radiant ward's probably a good thing. So you see everybody freaking out. This guy, if you had to guess, you think he's transforming?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's too late at this point.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll throw down a ward.
So you throw it on the ward kind of like between you and him and like back off a bit, like grab Bastion and back off a bit.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And you just want to give him a bit of space?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that would kind of play both fields. It'd be like, oh, just in case he does turn, but we'll try to keep him from turning if possible. Yeah, so I'll do that. I'll throw down a ward in between us, and then grab Bastion and kind of back him behind it.
Okay, awesome. So the two of you guys go like back to the doorway where Bastion originally came in. You have the ward more or less taking the entire house inside there, so he can't really move much from where he is. And so we're gonna go over to who's it next. And we can kind of fall out of initiative at this point. So yeah, it's actually going to be that guy's turn. So I was just looking. It's actually going to be that guy's turn, and he is twisting and bending and starting to let out these like guttural roars, even louder and stronger and whatnot. It's one of those things where, because you guys are now in the doorway, and definitely Bran, where you're outside, you can see others in the town are starting to like react. They're starting to like hear this and make their way over, and nothing has been able to calm him down so far. Things seem only to push him a little bit further. And so he goes over that tipping point and definitely starts a full-blown transformation. And the way the transformation works is you actually see like his body mass is growing larger. He's kind of like ripping at his skin and pulling it off. And underneath it is like big tufts of hair is like growing and popping out. His face elongates and twists open. You can hear once again those snaps and cracks of the bones and the ripping of everything. And finally it ends with, you know, his all fours are front ones are on the armchair itself, his hind legs where they were before, and he just arches his back up and gives like that big old into the night. And his hands really grasp hard into the armchair, and just the wood starts to crack and break beneath it, and then smashes down. The whole thing splinters apart, and turns his wheels back around to see you guys, and he's like, happy. That's all he can kind of get through on his turn.
Said happy?
Yeah. He breathes heavy and says happy.
Bastion, he's happy to see you.
Brad, it's your turn.
I'm gonna firebolt him. For 5 fire damage. I'm gonna back the hell away.
So, just checking stuff. So you just kind of like throw a firebolt, just like... And what the cool thing with a firebolt is, as soon as you do so, as soon as you hit it with a firebolt, not only do you able to see everything with a stronger view, with brighter light, so a better view. This is for all of you. But actually, the firebolt does singe a bit of the fur and leave a little bit of on fire. Nothing that's like so grand, it'd probably just end up going out in a few seconds on its own anyways. But it does allow you a bit more light inside the room to see better there, Rick. And you back the fuck away. Okay, cool. That's pretty much your turn. After that is going to go to Bran. That was you. Bastion.
Alright, so I ready my greatsword. I'm like, you aren't very nice. And I bring it down on him.
So he's actually a distance away from you because you guys backed up to the door.
Forward.
So you move forward? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you go rushing forward with the greatsword. Your character sheet doesn't currently have a greatsword on it. We can apply that for you right now because I suck. That's easy to do. So... that's spelled silvered, right? That might help. Perception damage for a greatsword is 2d6. It is slashing. Drag that S. And I don't think there's anything else involved. So, you are good, sir.
All right.
Ooh, that's a really good one. And decent damage. So you go moving forward towards the thing, and like you said, you bring the greatsword down on it, and it is a deep cut into the flesh of the creature. Now, the werewolf itself is actually pretty tough. It is pretty strong hide. But when the greatsword comes crashing down on him, it tears through the flesh and leaves like a gaping wound, and you start to see blood rolling down its fur and matting into it and whatnot. The thing lets out like a howl of pain and a growl and looks at you, and you can see that before it was agitated, it was angry, it was in pain and confused. Now it has focus, and its focus is on you, Bastion. Leonard, do you have anything that you can do with your other incantation, with your other Witcher sign there, Bastion, or are neither of those bonus action abilities?
I can take a quick look.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say that they're actions, though. Yeah, that's an action.
That was a bonus
Oh,
action.
actually, yeah. Yeah, I'll do that. I will cast Gwen.
So as he looks at you with that murderous intent, Bastion realizes like this probably isn't the best situation. Does like the Ken sign, and all of a sudden you see like that shimmering light appears around you for a moment before dissipating, giving you a little bit of bonus to your AC, which you probably need right now. It's now your turn, Leonard. Let's see what you can do.
What's my sword?
Oh, my apologies. Let me get that in there for you. Did you want to go with short sword because you use his dexterity?
I guess. Yeah.
Okay. Because you just picked it up, and the difference is a 2, so it's actually better off for you. So, short sword. We got the F4 of that. Dex works off of dexterity. It's 1d6, and it's piercing. And then we're good.
2 witches.
And you go right ahead,
Wow.
sir.
I have it now. Aha. Where is it?
Well, I didn't write silvered, but you're good either.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And now it's silvered. So click it where it says silvered short sword.
Sweet. What's his stance?
What do you mean?
Like the werewolf, is he on all fours or is he standing?
Oh, so he's standing on, because he kind of like broke the chair and then turned around. So he's standing up tall with his arms kind of like in front of him, shoulders wide, elbows even wider. Werewolves themselves, while they are very large, not actually large-sized creatures. So they're much larger than both of you guys, but not like the size of a horse or anything like that, right? So, so you rush forward. You're gonna hit it. Did you want to apply a description, sir?
Yeah, I was thinking about just like kind of doing like a slide and like trying to get at his legs.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? Take a slash at his legs as I slid by and try to get behind him if possible.
Absolutely. You have enough movement that you can make that happen. So more or less you kind of like move around behind, but you slide like through to make that happen. And you do a slash out of the legs. You hit. Roll your damage.
This one?
The way you roll your damage there, you actually, with that first one where it says the 19, says silver short sword, click it in chat. The word that says silver short sword.
Oh, you're right. I said.
There you go. So 6 points of damage. So you do swing by and you actually do clip it at a good spot where it actually does a decent amount of damage, even better than the great sword did, which is considerable considering that the great sword is massive, right? So so you slide by and you do that, and the thing does let out another growl, and now it has a witcher on either side of it. It has a flaming shoulder, and it is not a very happy boy at the moment, taking 16 damage. So
It's not happy anymore.
So he says, "Want fight?" And we'll let out like another big howl, and then he's gonna, with a huge claw, come crashing down over at what's your name there? Over at Bastion. So this is gonna be one bite and one
Bastion,
claw.
no!
Okay. Oh, sorry. Making sure I didn't miss something. There we go. So it comes swinging down with one of its claws over at Bastion, whose AC is currently a 12, because he did add the Ken sign, but is not wearing any armor at the moment. Bastion, however, does have his greatsword in the way. So as the claw comes crashing down, Bastion's able to kind of like catch the claw with his greatsword and just use that to throw it past him. So the claw swings out wide and doesn't actually hit against him.
Happy.
That 2 AC actually did assist you, sir. And then it's going to be the bite. And so then he's going to, after doing that at Bastion, and then the other one who had actually slid underneath and cut his leg, he turns back quicker than you would expect and bites down hard over at Leonard. Leonard's AC is only a 13. I hit much higher than that, so he actually does hit you. And does... Sorry, I don't really use these creatures very often. I just gotta make sure I memorize the modifiers. Okay, now I get them moving forward. Okay. So he bites down at you with like a fierce... Holy shit. He bites down at you with a fierce bite, and he actually catches you for 9 points of damage. So the bite comes down, and he actually... So let's just... Are you left-handed or right-handed?
Right.
So you're right-handed, you swung with your right hand, and then you like pushed yourself up with your left as you got back to the other side, and as you're wheeling around, it just comes over so fast and bites deep into your left shoulder. And you can just feel it like daggers pincing in. You can feel your bones kind of like, giving to the pressure of the bite underneath. And I imagine you let out your own howl. that is its turn, but you can see that as its mouth is around you, its tongue is kind of like whipping around and licking up a bit of the blood of that's kind of pouring out of you before it whips its head around back and forth for a moment. Do me a favor, roll me a strength saving throw, sir. Oh, that's actually really good. So he actually will, he whips back and forth and tries to like lift you from your feet and throw you across the room. But honestly, Leonard is so acrobatic that as he's lifted from the feet and starts to throw, he actually kind of, grabs onto something to stop the momentum and then drops his and centers his gravity down, pulls himself back down to his feet in front of the creature, not moved but 3 feet from where he was before. Has a lot of control. Bran, you see this, and honestly, it's impressive. Like, you've never seen anything like that before. You don't have to say it, though. All right, Bran, it's your turn.
Know it.
I'm just having a look right now. When I look at my spell sheet, it says spell attack bonus is 4. Mm-hmm. But I only got a +2 to the firebolt, so I may have set it up wrong.
Let me look at your character sheet. Session 1's always good for kind of like hammering out these little fun details. So if you actually look at Firebolt, it's a 2. Firebolt has proficiency. For some reason, it doesn't have spell on there. If you look at attack, it had like a hyphen. Now it has spell. So now it's going to be a +4. So you'd be better off there. Burning Hands doesn't really need that because you don't really make an attack roll with Burning Hands.
I mean, okay. I'm just going to Firebolt it again, I guess.
Go ahead. So with Burning Hands, you actually unclick that one, so it just does the damage. There we go. Cool. Oh, so you firebolt it. Awesome. So you actually take your firebolt, you hurl, you hit the thing again, roll your damage.
Ooh.
So not an incredible amount of damage. The total you guys have done so far to it is 18. This thing is hurt, but not anywhere near as hurt as Leonard is feeling at the moment. Bran, anything else on your turn?
There's not really much I can do, like bonus action wise.
Okay. Then you're going to we're going to bring us away over to Bastion. Bastion, you're still standing in front of it, great sword in hands.
All right, and it is facing. Wait, I'm in front of it. I thought it turned around and.
Oh well, yeah, it like bit backwards, but like it's kind of squared off, so it can easily. Yeah.
Towards me.
Yeah.
All right, so like after as it's recovering from that, I'm gonna try and swing upward at its chest.
Absolutely. A foolish attack for a weaker man.
Cleave at it.
Ooh.
But this is no weak man. Oh God! Oh. Woo. So that gets us from 18 to, oh my God. So you do swing up and you catch over by the base, over by the hilt of your silver sword, you catch it in the chest and then you just rip along and just cut a huge deep gash in its chest. And once again, blood is just kind of like pouring down onto the ground below. This thing is hurting pretty bad at this point. After that is going to be, unless you do anything else, it's going to be Leonard's turn.
Oh, I'm gonna say happy because it's the most clever thing I can come up with, and even though I already said it earlier, I'm just gonna keep saying it.
So am I still like holding on to the wall, or do you let me go?
You're good. You're good.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
You're grounded. You're balanced.
So he's faced towards Bastion.
Yes.
So then I'll just take my sword and just jab it into his back.
Mm-hmm. Make them to make that attack roll, sir. Okay, so from behind the creature, you just grab your sword up, and you're able to stab between the shoulder blades and get another clean hit. Roll your damage. And another 5. You guys are really tinking away at this thing. So it gets me to, what you call it? All right, perfect. That's going to be the creature's turn. It's getting kind of pissed of what's going on here. It has a taste for blood in its mouth now, and it likes it. But unfortunately, the most damage is coming from Bastion, so we're going to abandon Leonard for a second, and it's going to start coming forward for Bastion. So, Bastion, I hope you're ready for this one.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
And that is okay. So with his claw, just barely getting around your Ken. So it's one of those things where the claw comes down and you try to block it with the sword, but it actually overpowers, so your sword gets up to block it and overpowers the magic charm that you have to protect you against the damage it can deal. And it's going to be able to claw at you, dealing to you 6 points of damage. But it doesn't stop there. Where it grabs you with the claw, it uses that grab to hold you steady as its back arches backwards, and its whole body lunges forward as it tries to bring its teeth down to crush your head. Much like how you saw the body of Max out in the woods. Same exact attack roll. That's kind of funny. So he does hit you. And he's going to deal to poor Bastion. It's garbage. As he does exactly as I described and tries to bring his mouth to bear, Bastion knows there's no way he can get out of the way. He doesn't have the might at the moment, the footing at the moment, or the dexterity to pull away from this attack. So instead, he actually leans into the head. Like, go ahead, bite my head. But gets the sword right up there with him. So as he tries to bring the mouth down, the sword starts to pierce into the roof of the mouth, causing him to like pull back the attack and reel back in pain. You only take 3 points of damage from that attack.
Still not feeling too good.
Yeah, I bet. That's going to be Brand's turn next.
Yeah, you guessed it. I'm going to firebolt it again from a safe distance.
Sure.
Look good, Brian.
Does that hit?
That actually is another hit. You guys are at least consistent. That's good. Another 6.
There we go.
Jeez. Okay, so that gets me to... All right. So, the back side of it, you actually set over by its ass and where its tail is, are now literally on fire at the moment. And this thing is howling in pain. But unfortunately, as much as this is magical fire burning it, that can't even be its focus because it's being smashed back and forth by all these silver swords. You imagine that the creature, another creature of this size and might should have fallen by now, but werewolves just have this regenerative ability. Luckily, the silver of the swords reduce that, incredibly so, but that doesn't stop this creature from still being able to maintain all these injuries that it's taken. Bastion, it's your turn again.
All right, so I'm assuming I'm out of his mouth at this point,
Correct,
right? Like,
yeah, and pulled free from its grip.
All right, so I'm gonna lunge this time with my silver greatsword and just go straight for the belly. Just want to stab right in there.
Mm-hmm. And this is the first...
Oh, okay. I just clicked on it.
Too excited, man. Too excited. Sloppy dice drink. So, so you try to go straight for the belly, as you had just said. But honestly, your sword is so big, it's so long. For you to go for the belly, you actually have to back up considerably. And then when you go to lunge forward, it has more than enough time for the thing to slap the weapon out of the way. When he does that, when he slaps the weapon out of the way, you come to remember, wait a second, I'm standing on a trap that hasn't been triggered because he hasn't moved forward at all. You have a decent wisdom. So you remember this thing. I'm actually standing on a trap that hasn't even been triggered yet.
Yeah, my trap, thanks.
Hmm? You remember how you rushed across? And,
oh, yeah.
Well,
so...
Anything else you want to do in your turn?
No, I think that's it for me.
Okay. So that's going to be Leonard next.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's a way I can get him in the ward, but I don't think I can. I'm afraid if I attack him, he'll direct to me. So I'm just going to mumble to myself and go like, Bastion, you idiot. And then I'm going to like try to do another slide attack and get underneath it again and get on the back in the front of it. And then take some steps back and try to lead it into the ward like I thought Bastion would have done this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I'm a fucking idiot. What do you think I am?
So you try to like head back towards the door? You got to disengage?
Yeah. Well, not disengage, but kind of just like slide attack again, but the other way.
Attack, my apologies.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. So you're going to attack, but you're going to allow yourself to be open for an attack of opportunity if you try to like back the hell out of there, which is fine. Actually, that's not entirely... Yeah, no, that is true. That's how that works. Okay, so make your attack roll.
All right.
You have the better AC anyways. Unfortunately, as you try to make your way by, it notices this tactic that you've used before, this like attack to get from below, and it literally just picks up its foot and tries to bring it to bear down on you as you're sliding by. It's gonna be a claw attack technically. But I miss horribly. So it tries to bring its claw down. So as you slide by and do the attack, it picks up its foot. It drops it down, but you like roll out of the way and it crashes next to you. And you can literally see one of those dagger-like toes, like not but 2 or 3 inches from your eyeball, as you like push up and scram back towards the doorway. Trying to pull Bastion with you. Bastion, do you follow suit behind him?
Yes.
Okay. So seeing this happen, the werewolf is once again just going to be pissed that you guys are like peppering this thing and attacking and whatnot. So it's going to once again just kind of like reel back and be like, and it's going to start coming forward to chase at you guys towards the door. However, in doing so, does trigger the trap, which I have to see what the saving throw is. Can you check your spell for me, Leonard, to see what the
Constitution, I think.
Con save.
Is it this one?
Correct, and it is con save. You were correct, Rick. Thank you, sir. So I'm going to roll my con save and throw. I rolled a 4 plus 2. So I'm rolling garbage. Last time before I rolled a 5 plus 4. So you are able to roll me 2d6. To do that, it's /roll space 2d6. Okay, so that's going to be a decent amount of radiant damage, and it's restrained, which means it can't move. It's like stuck there. And so I'm going to look up my conditions really quickly. So it's actually completely stuck there for its turn. It cannot continue moving forward to attack at you guys, et cetera, et cetera. So whose turn is after its? That actually brings you to Bran. Bran, the creature is restrained. It's stuck there. You can actually see like as it stepped into the thing. What color is your Yurden?
Does that matter?
It just for thematics.
Green.
So as it steps into the trap, all of a sudden the area which was just looked normal before, all of a sudden there's a flash of green light as you see like the Yurden symbol rises up and collapses in on the creature, and he lets out like again like a bit of a wince and a small howl of pain. Like a yelp of pain, and you can see the creature's like stuck there and it's trying to move but really can't. The restrained condition, your speed becomes 0 and can't benefit from a bonus to your speed. You have disadvantage on attack rolls. Attack rolls against you have advantage. You have disadvantage on dexterity saves. So if there was like a dex save spell or if there was an attack against it, now's like the time where it's like really fucking good. This is where you like come in at it. It is now your turn, Bran. What do you do against this restrained werewolf?
I'm gonna firebolt it. I could use burning hands, but my thinking is that since this is a house and their stuff's being kept here, if we don't burn the house, we might be able to loot it.
There you go.
So you think throwing fire at it is a better solution?
It's smaller fire.
It's true.
This is more controlled fire.
It's true.
You do actually hit.
Cool.
Oh!
I got them sick burns.
And it's a devastating one. Oh my god. So it was that. So you take this this firebolt and you hurl the thing, and because it's held still, you take the firebolt and you throw it at the creature's face, and you almost catch it right in the side of the face. You end up hitting it in the cheek, which sets like the fur and the skin around its neck and down around its shoulder and a little bit up onto the face itself is like singeing and burning, and it lets out like another yelp and howl of pain, and it is not doing well at all. This thing is hurting badly. After your turn is going to be Bastion. Bastion, you can see this creature is on its last leg, and there's nothing it can do about it right now. It is just stuck there.
What's going on with, like, you mentioned that people were starting to crowd around the house earlier. What's that situation?
Absolutely. So kind of like the fact that you finally pulled away from the fight, you also pull your mind away from it to take in the surroundings, and you see that people around the town have come over, and some of them are holding torches, so just so they can see, because it's nighttime, not like pitchforks and torches, and they're like watching.
That's a smart idea.
And everybody can actually see like everything that's going on, or the fact that you guys are in there and killing something inside of Carver's home. Now, a moment ago, they may have been against you guys. They may have like really been like, "Urgh," but with that howl that they just heard as it stepped forward, oh no! Everybody out there has this look of like terror and fear upon them.
All right, so I look out the window. I'm like, "You're welcome," and then I try to lunge again. I try to pull the old lunge maneuver. I need to try and redeem myself with that one.
Advantage on your attack roll. He's all
Yeah.
like, "Hey, what can I say? You're welcome for this dead werewolf we got in here. You got a hit, sir. And with 8 health points left, you did 9. Oh, hello.
My bad.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. No, you're fine. So 8 health points left. You've got you did 9. Feel free to describe the attack. Now, mind you, this is very, very important. In 5e, you have the choice when you deliver the felling blow. With magic, I don't always allow this, but when you deliver the felling blow, to choose to kill or to knock unconscious, more or less. But describe your attack and describe your result. Lunch.
I don't think I was gonna say at first maybe he spared him, but I don't think he's like smart enough to be like to think in that much in the moment. He's caught up in the moment. The lights are on him. He sees these people now, so he's just going for the full-on lunge. He's looking out the window, lunging into the beast's stomach and just tearing him right open. Just looking at the window the entire time, smiling at the villagers who are probably terrified. He's putting on a show.
Yep. So you do that, and you tear the creature open, and it stumbles backwards, and then it collapses down to its knees, holding itself up with like one of its paws kind of like hunched forward, and you can see like its gut starting to spill out. And as it like collapses and rolls down onto its opposing shoulder and onto its back, you can see all of a sudden as it's like shuddering, you can see it starting to shrink and grow back down in size to its human form. And there on the ground, still naked, but very, very, very injured before you is Carver, and he is fatally wounded. You know what I mean? He is all sorts of fucked up. Transformations tend to be helpful for creatures like this to give them a bit of their vitality back, but you're fucking him up with silver swords and magic. There's nothing that is going to help him with this. So he's on the ground. He's coughing up blood. He has this huge gaping wounds deep into his belly, as well as all these other cuts and a burn on the side of his face. Hey, it reminds you of Leonard. And he's kind of like, not quite dead yet, but pretty close.
Sounds like me.
No.
Anyone
but
from
not going to just make it. I'm sorry?
Has anyone from outside want to help?
Nobody responds.
At this point, I turn to address the crowd. It seems that the reign of terror that held this village in its grasp has ended. The witchers here have tracked down the beast, and it has been slain. It seems to have been someone you held in high regard, and that is why he has been able to go about his business for so long.
That's what's happening outside. And honestly, you can roll me a persuasion check, Rick. But no matter what, you clearly had an effect on the audience out there. I was gonna say you could roll with advantage, but never mind. Like you fucking crushed it. That's amazing. So Jesus. All right, so you had an effect on the entire group out there. Like, actually, some people would even be like cheering and like, "Yay!" and "My boy has vengeance," and things like that. And but on the inside, you can see that Carver, who's like shivering and his skin is growing pale and whatnot, who's clearly not doing okay. He starts kind of like reaching up over towards the two of you. Bastion's the one that's closer, but she's reaching up towards the two of you.
I'm definitely going to kneel down and sort of like comfort him in his dying moments.
Requiescat in pace.
He's like, I didn't realize it was me. The witch. It was the witch. I chased her out of the bogs. and she said she'd curse me, but I just thought it was the words of an old crone. I didn't think.
Where is this witch now?
I didn't think. And he just kind of like fades.
I promise I will find this witch for you.
He's dead.
I know. I'm just as he was fading
it.
away. That's
He's
like,
dead.
yeah. Okay.
So obviously, I imagine you like holding his hand or shoulder or whatever it was, and he passes. You stay there. You said your words and stay there for another couple extra moments of respect. Especially since you're the one that killed him. Witchers don't like killing people. You know what I mean? That's
right.
So you take your couple extra moments of respect or whatever it is, and when the two of you kind of like look back to the crowd that's out there, nobody has left. Everybody's still standing there, and it doesn't really matter which one, the first one to step out of the doorway and into like the light of their torches that are out there. People actually cheer, like literally cheer you on. Ooh, yeah!
Can I address the crowd now?
Absolutely. I'll take 3 wives and 2 daughters.
So this is actually going to be one of his more human moments.
Mm-hmm.
So he's sort of like, do not celebrate the death of a man, but that we know the cause of this change. I promise you that at the very least I will dedicate myself to finding the witch that caused his transformation. And he's got like a very stern look on his face that you don't normally see from him.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm just gonna tack on to the enemy, be like, does anyone have any clothes?
And with that, we'll take our final break before we come to our final hour of the first session of this game. So we'll see everybody in a couple of minutes. As always, pee, poo, or do what you do. We'll see you soon.